China-Kenya trade is at a historic high, with volumes doubling in the last 2 years on the back of improved business environment and infrastructure development in Kenya. CNBC Africa's Wendo attended the China Trade Week in Nairobi and filed this report.
Trade ties between Kenya and China have been spearheaded by the two governments fast-tracking industrialization in Kenya. These relations led up to the second annual China Trade Week held in Nairobi.
Kenya is among the first African countries with which China is carrying out infrastructure, information, and industrial cooperation. In 2015, China-Kenya bilateral trade reached over 6 billion. So within 2 years, after His Excellency's visit to China, 2 years, the trade nearly doubled. In the year 2014, the trade between us was $3.2 billion US. Last year, the volume reached to 6 billion, nearly doubled.
The net FDI inflows into Kenya gross over $940 million as at 2014. According to the World Bank, China's exports into Kenya stand at a record $3.2 billion following the construction of the standard gauge railway.
Last year, Kenya became one of the pilot countries of China-Africa Industrialization Capacity Cooperation, and with the flagship projects such as the standard, the SGR, the Dongbu-Kuntu Special Economic Zone are progressing very smoothly, ahead of time, and there are more and more programmatic cooperation projects between two countries are being implemented to contribute to the industrialization of Kenya and the fulfillment of Vision 2030, bringing more benefits to Kenyan people.
Nairobi became a preferred foreign direct investment destination in the region, with a number of multinational companies having relocated and pitching their headquarters to Nairobi. Currently, over 25 multinational companies located in Nairobi are actually the headquarters for the African continent region.
China has pumped an additional $1.4 billion through a government-to-government deal in extending the SGR to Naivasha and the construction of an industrial park.
His Excellency told me late September, let's go to Naivasha to open the SGR between Nairobi and Naivasha. And in Naivasha, the industry park will be very much prosperous because Naivasha is so near to the geothermal site, and this industry park will have very, very cheap electricity. With electricity and with the lake, we will have everything for the industry park in Naivasha.
Other places and spaces of expansion are floriculture, towns of Naivasha, the city of Kisumu, and Mombasa, Lamu to Juba to Addis Ababa, which is called the LAPSET. This is a very major investment in this region.
In an attempt to bridge the widening import bill, the government hopes to cash in on job opportunities and skills that the Chinese industries bring.
Last year, the Chinese government provided over 800 government scholarships and training opportunities for Kenya. And more Kenya students and officials go to China for higher education. And on the other hand, China has become Kenya's second largest tourist source country in Asia. And also during DP's visit, he will discuss more help from China for vocational training centers all over Kenya.
You can transfer some of your light industries to Kenya, e.g. packaging and so on and so forth, so that once you start packaging from this region, when you start manufacturing from this region, it will be very, very easy for you and cheap for you to access the market of East African community, access the market of COMESA with over 600 million people, access also the tripartite the trading blocks through COMESA, East Africa, and SADC. So we want to let you know that there is a great market for you here.
Optimistic that China-Kenya relations will foster economic growth, Kenya is keen on creating a conducive business environment for all private sector players through partnerships and collaboration.
The government of the Republic of Kenya is committed to promoting growth of investments through a thriving private sector. Once you come on board and once you start stationing yourselves here, once you start trading, we have the private sector associations which you can be members. The most important thing is that if you become members of these private sector associations, the Chamber of Commerce, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the KEPSA, what will happen is that it will give you credibility so that we can be dealing with you directly.
The private sector will continue to work with all investors to ensure that there is a conducive business environment that will ensure that whoever invests here gets a high return on investment and making this nation a very, very successful regional center of economic growth.